Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am here today just to talk a little bit more about Cricut. So today I just want to talk about some Cricut basics. These are things that pretty much when you are just getting started you may not know, or you may know about and you're not sure what to do with some of the items that I will be discussing. You may see the name, have heard the names, or see some of the materials in the craft stores when you're looking, but you're not sure what to do with them, how to use them, or when to use them when it comes to your Cricut crafting. So I just want to showcase a few of the basic materials that I have and that I use, and pretty much most Cricut owners will use in the beginning of their Cricut journey for your first few projects, depending on which one you purchased and the reason that you bought the machine, and also a few other alternatives to some of the more common materials or tools that are used that may be a little less expensive, or at least may be good to use as you're still getting familiar with your machine and learning in perfecting your craft. So instead of going out and investing in all of the things necessarily name brand or Cricut brand, or also the more expensive items or the higher grade of an item, I will be showing you some things that are definitely more budget friendly in some cases, and also just some general materials that you probably use anyway, and some tips and tricks on how to get them at a more affordable price than they typically are. So I will try to link the items that I showcase down below if they are still available, or if I can find something similar or within the same price range that will be effective for you in terms of performing the same craft. So I will go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to do is just do some basic background information on some of the common materials that pretty much everybody will use at some point with your Cricut machine, starting with the infamous mats. So one of the things, like I've mentioned before in my previous video, I am in a Facebook group for beginning Cricut users, and a lot of the questions that I see in there from people who have just purchased a machine or just starting are kind of like, well, what type of vinyl do I use and when, or which one works best for this particular type of craft, and also when it comes to the mats. So a lot of times people have troubleshooting questions that deal with mat issues in terms of the mat that they use when they're cutting materials. So what I have is showcasing the mats, the colors, what materials those colors are used for, as well as a link that can give you a nice little chart that you can reference, because clearly we don't expect you to memorize all of this stuff ever. And so this is just a nice tool resource for you guys to use when you are still learning about the Cricut and learning about the materials. And it's something that you will probably eventually start to remember as you get more familiar and use it, but you always have the guides to reference you. So starting with the mats, there are 4 colored mats that are used with the Cricut. Depending on when you purchase your Cricut, or how you purchased it, meaning if you purchased a bundle set, or maybe you purchased the machine by itself and then purchase another like materials bundle, then you know that you have to have a mat, a cutting mat. And so again, they come in 4 colors. The colors are green, pink, blue, and purple, and they are different. They're not just colorful for, to be like, oh, if you like pink, buy the pink one. If you like purple, buy the purple. They actually do have a purpose. So they are made for different types of materials that you can use with your Cricut machine. The most commonly used one probably will be the green mat. And the reason I say that, by the way, all of these mats I will be showing you will be in the 12 by 12. So you'll see the dimensions on the side. And these will all be Cricut brand mats as well. However, there are alternative mats out there, so I just want to put that out there. I just happen to have them because, one, the bundle I purchased came with 2 of the mats, and then I needed to purchase the green mat. Mine came with the pink and the blue, and I needed to purchase the other mats to do what I was trying to do with my Cricut. So that's why I just happen to have all the brands, but there all are non-Cricut brand mats available. I've seen them on Amazon. I have not tried them personally, so I can't speak to their effectiveness, but just know that they are available. So again, back to the green mat. The green mat is the most commonly used, at least for me right now. What it has, the glare that you see is just the protective cover that all of the mats come with, and it is important to keep that. I know a lot of times when we get items like this, you think this is just kind of like to protect the mat pre-purchase, and once you get it, you know, you can toss it, but you actually want to hold on to this covering to protect your mat from gathering like dust or lint or extra stuff when you're not using the mat, because this is, every mat you use is used to put your materials on. So depending on what type of material it is, you don't want to end up with, like, you know, dust or something attached to your material or to your things that you're cutting and end up transferring over to your project, especially if you're doing like iron on, where, you know, once you iron it there, it's there. So you want to have a nice clean mat. The mats, all of the mats do eventually get dirtier and get some gunk and build up over time after use. So you there are ways to refurbish or clean your mat and re-sticky it is one of the terms you'll see, and you can definitely search that on Pinterest. The most commonly used solution to that is to get some Awesome, which is like a dish detergent, and then you use that with some water. So just mix those two together, make your soapy water, and cleanse your mat, and that will re-sticky your mat, because again, all of these mats have a sticky pad, but over time with use, then the stickiness tends to wear off. So that's one way to re-sticky the mat and also clean the mat, just of all the little extra debris and things that build up on it over time and with use. But back to the use of the screen mat. This green mat is used for cutting the materials cardstock, pattern paper, embossing cardstock, or embossed cardstock, I'm sorry. So cardstock that is embossed. Iron on and iron on vinyl, and all vinyl. So iron on vinyl, which is also known as HTV or heat transfer vinyl, and then your permanent and removable vinyl. So this, most of the projects that I've done so far for my Cricut Maker have been vinyl based projects. So I've been doing a lot of iron on projects and also using some with the permanent vinyl. And this has been my go-to mat. My very first project was a cutting project with cardstock. So I made a couple of cards. Again, this was the mat that you would use. So this is my green mat, and I named what those things were. There is a handy dandy chart on Pinterest, which I will, if you follow me on Pinterest, my name on there is Keeda, KEEDA _D910, and I'll have that down in the description box as well. I do have a Cricut board. It's just called Cricut Crafting, and it has the chart with all formats and what materials you can use them for, so you can always reference that. So yes, so once again, green mat is used for cardstock, pattern paper, iron on vinyl, also known as HTV, heat transfer vinyl, regular vinyl, permanent and removable, as well as cardstock that is embossed. So that would be the use for your green mat. The next mat I have here, which as you can probably tell I have not used yet, is the pink mat. And this is one of the ones that came with my bundle purchase. So it primarily, as it even states here, it has a fabric grip. So when it talks about the grip, it's about talking about the stickiness, the level of stickiness that it has. So this mat doesn't have as many uses. It's used for mainly fabric as well as for crepe paper. So I am not going into that arena anytime soon, so this mat will probably stay nice and shiny for a while. I will probably eventually branch out into fabric, but again, like I said, it will be a while before I do that. But that is the use of the pink mat. So not a lot of uses for it, and if you know you're not going to be dealing with fabric or anything like that, especially in the beginning stages, you don't need this mat unless it just, like this one came with my bundle, so I have it by default. But if you're just buying the mats individually, you don't need this mat unless you plan on doing fabric, really. The next mat I have here is the blue mat, and it is considered a light grip mat. And just remembering, the green one is considered the standard grip. So green is standard grip, and blue is considered light grip. So the light grip mat, or the blue mat, deals with lightweight cardstock, common office paper, so computer paper, and then vellum. So again, not tons of uses, but it will probably be used in your early stages, especially if you're talking about like cardstock. When it talks about the weight, I don't know if you've ever paid attention to the paper. When you buy it on the package, it will have like a weight amount there, and that is how you can determine if it's lightweight or not. So you can always use the blue mats with the typical cardstock. All right, so the last mat is the purple mat, which I do not own. And again, that's partially because I do not need it right now. I will probably eventually purchase it to make, just so I can have the complete set of mats in case I do decide to branch out into that. But the use for the purple mat is for materials that I have not really have an interest in using right now. It is the thicker cardstock, so I guess you could say the heavyweight cardstock, glitter cardstock, which I really didn't even know glitter cardstock existed. Magnetic material. So if you are someone who is looking at making magnets for a project, then you would want a purple mat. So the purple mat is kind of like a light, almost lavendery purple. It looks just like these mats, just purple. So again, uses for those are thick cardstock, glitter cardstock, magnets, chipboard. So I will eventually be doing some wood crafting. So that was one of the reasons I got the maker as opposed to the other machines. And the purple mat would be the mat that I would need when I get ready to create my wood crafts. So I will need the purple mat for sure. Because that's one of the projects, or one of the types of projects I want to be able to do with my maker. So chipboard refers to the wood. Cricut actually sells some of that, and you can also just get some that can be compatible with the Cricut maker. So that's one to get. Poster board, so that might be relatively common. Fabric with the stiffener. So if you have an Explorer Air 2, this goes back to what I was saying about some of the differences when you get into the more complex materials. With the maker, you do not necessarily have to do anything to the fabric. You can just attach it to your mat and then cut it the way you would anything else. With the Explorer Air 2, you need to do add what they call a stiffener, which makes the fabric, you have to basically attach something to the back of the fabric to give it a little bit better, to make it stiffer, essentially, like it says. And so that is when you would use the purple mat. So if you're just doing fabric, meaning without the stiffener, you would use the pink mat. But if you are using your Explorer Air 2, then you need to apply that stiffener to make sure you have a better cut, and you would use a purple mat for that. Also leather. So leather would be another use for the purple mat. I did see some false leather on sale in Michael's, so I wonder if the fake leather would also fall in the paper mat as well, the purple mat as well. So those are just the basics. So like again, I said these are all Cricut brand, as is labeled up there, and 2 of them did come with my bundle that I purchased when I got the maker originally. But there are other brands that look like that. I've seen it on Amazon. I have not needed to purchase an additional mat or anything. I actually purchased the green mat in a 2-pack, which you can get, and I think it was only like 15 bucks. So not a huge expense considering that's about average, cost for the mats anyway. But if I am just looking to have an extra mat or something, I would definitely suggest looking at places like Amazon, or just Googling, like grip mat or standard grip mat for Cricut, and you'll get to see more options other than just the standard Cricut brand mat. And sometimes those options are cheaper. It may not be a huge difference. Sometimes it's just $2 or $3, and you may say, well, for that difference I might as well get the one, the brand name. But you can also get other off brands or non-name brand mats that will work effectively as well, especially if you just want to have it as a backup mat, or maybe like if you travel, you don't want to take all your your best things in case you lose it or leave it, then you would rather just take your backup mat, and as long as it performs at the same level, then you're good to go. So look for those, especially if you want to do it for backup alternatives. So again, those are the 4 mats. The next thing I want to go through is the vinyl types. So I've mentioned before heat transfer vinyl, which is also known as HTV. My favorite brand of heat transfer vinyl is Sizer, and I showed it in my other video just when I was talking about materials in general. But the Sizer brand, this is the Easy Weed HTV. It's available at Michael's, probably, and also at Joann's. I'm not sure about Hobby Lobby because I don't shop there that often, but that is somewhere you can buy it. Target and Walmart, I have not seen Sizer. I've seen the Cricut brands of vinyl, but I have not seen the Sizer brand. So I would say you may have to stick to your craft stores for this brand. This particular brand of HTV usually runs about $18.99, maybe a couple of dollars more for the pattern designs or the holographic. So some of the more fancy that you could say, instead of just solid colors, they can cost a little more. But like I said, if you shop Michael's, if that's your main store, they have coupons all the time, and they also have sales and discounts. When I purchased, or when I got my maker, Michael's was having different sales on the vinyl types every week or every couple of weeks. So they had the HTV, Sizer HTV went on sale for $9.99, as I mentioned before, and it usually retails for like $18.99 and a little above, depending on the type. And they put all of the rolls, no matter what kind, whether it's pattern, solid color, whatever, it was all $9.99. So I did get a few at that point, just so I would have some in my stash, even though I was still just getting started on my maker journey. So I recommend Sizer brand just from my use and experience. Cricut does make a vinyl, iron vinyl as well, and I've only used their glitter vinyl for Cricut, but from the research that I've done on the types of materials and vinyl, Sizer seems to be the preferred HTV between the two, but Cricut is probably the easiest one to access because you can get that at Walmart. Target carries mostly stuff for the Cricut Joy because I think they did sign a contract or come to some kind of agreement where Target, would kind of be an exclusive or a carrier of the, not exclusive because you can get the Joy other places, but that it would be kind of like a carrier of the Cricut Joy. So they tend to keep the Cricut Joy machine and materials for the Cricut Joy in stock versus other items like this. You can usually find like basic colors like black and white in vinyl in like Target, but not so much for the maker and the Air 2. With the craft stores, you have more variety in brands as well as just in options. Walmart does tend to carry the Cricut brand, and they do have a lot of the color options, but again, it's only limited to the Cricut brand from what I've seen, at least in my area Walmarts. So again, for heat transfer vinyl, this is what you use when you are doing iron-on projects. So if you're talking about t-shirts, maybe masks, tote bags, baby onesies, anything that involves heat to put the vinyl onto the material, then this is the vinyl you're looking for, HTV or heat transfer vinyl. You can also use this, trying to think what else I've used it on as iron-on projects. So my main things so far have been t-shirts, onesies, and tote bags. So I have used this brand for all of those things, and I can actually show you some of those projects, because one of the things I want to say about heat transfer vinyl is it does require heat, obviously, to put it onto the material. Now, most people, or a lot of people that were just getting started in their Cricut journey, went out and purchased either the Cricut brand of heat press, which is, they call it the Easy Press machine, or they purchase a heat press from Amazon or eBay or somewhere else, because they know they want to do t-shirts. And a lot of people are doing that as kind of a side business or a small business to sell the t-shirts. Heat presses are good, and the Cricut Easy Press, they're good if you're going to be doing things in bulk. Like if you're going to be taking orders, you're going to have 20, 30 or more shirts to do, or mask, or whatever your project is to do, then yes, a heat press is good because it is definitely a little quicker time-wise. But if you are like me and you just want this for your hobby, not necessarily to profit off of, you're just going to be making projects for friends and family, or maybe special occasions or whatnot, or even if you are doing it for a business, it's very here and there, it's not like your main thing and you're not even pushing it that hard, then I would suggest for a beginner especially to just get a regular household iron. And yes, I am from North Carolina. I do have an accent, so that is how I pronounce that word, iron. But my whole purpose of saying that is because I've seen a lot of people go out and purchase the heat press or the easy press, the Cricut easy press, and they don't really need it if they're not doing a business. There are a lot of people doing the business, so I could see why they would do that. But for those who are just getting started and want to, build up to that point of a business, then I would suggest starting with a good old household iron. I purchased this at Target. This is a Sunbeam brand iron. It does have a steam component, but I haven't used the steam for any of my projects. Most of my shirts have been pretty much like a mix of cotton. They've been the Gildan shirts that you can buy from Michaels. They had a sale on those t-shirts when I first got my maker, and so I racked up on different colors, again, just to experiment and to get more familiar with using the heat transfer vinyl and doing that whole process. So I had to purchase this iron because I don't own an iron. Most of my clothes either have stretch or I use them in the dryer and they don't come out wrinkled. People think that's amazing that I never really had an iron since I've left my parents' house and went to college. I really haven't needed it, and my clothes are not wrinkled, so that works for me. But now I do own one. I had a steamer before, so I mean, if I really needed to get some wrinkles out, I did have a steamer. But like I said, this is a Sunbeam iron. It was $20 at Target. If it is still available online, I will link it in the description below. If I see another one that's similar to it within the same price range, between like 20 and 25 bucks, or even up to 30 bucks, then I will link it here because it's still cheaper than any of the heat presses and mini presses out there. The smallest Cricut easy press, which is the mini press, is like $49. So that's just a small one. It's not even the size of a t-shirt, but it does work well for smaller projects like masks or maybe even onesie, so something no bigger than that. But if you're doing a big adult size t-shirt, then that is not going to be it unless you're maybe using it for smaller detailed things. But again, an alternative to any of those things, heat presses can run you like $150, $200 regardless. The Cricut one, the smallest t-shirt size, I guess you would say, or one that you would use for a shirt, would cost you about $99. Again, these are retail prices, not counting any sales or discounts you could find or have. And I know sometimes people wonder about the quality of the iron because they wonder, will it put things, transfer the vinyl on there and it will stay without issue. So I can say that the t-shirts that I have designed, they have been worn and washed, and again, I use Sizer vinyl. They have stayed, they still look new, there's no peeling, there's no other issues. And I also use it for tote bags. This is one of my creations here. So this is one of my creations, one of my first actually. So I was probably like 2 or 3 days in when I made this tote bag. And this would be considered layering because I had to do the frame, the pink frame, and then the words Garden Gang with the little floral design there on the side. That was with glitter vinyl, and then, which is actually the Cricut brand vinyl, and then the pink is Sizer vinyl. This tote bag came from Michaels, and it's on sale. It's just plain white with the decorative bottom. And I actually made this for a friend of mine. We both garden, so I'm gonna, and she's also a member of a sorority, which colors are pink and green. So I made her this Garden Gang tote bag to go along with the t-shirt that I also made for myself and her. And it looks like this. It says Garden Gang with a flower. And again, this was probably like one of my first projects I did, like the second or third day that I had my maker. And all this t-shirt was done with Sizer vinyl. And I just did a freestyle design in my in the Cricut design space. And a second tote bag that I did also from Michael's, just the solid pink, is for another friend of mine who had, these are just her initials on there. And it was just solid before I did anything to it. These bags were on sale. They had been $7.99, and I think they were marked down to like $1 and some change at the time that I purchased them, both of them. So I got them just to play with. So those are some of my first crafts. And again, that was mainly Sizer vinyl, with the exception of the pink glitter vinyl that was used in the garden game bag. And all of that was done using that $20 iron that I showed you. So that is why I say you do not necessarily need a heat press to get these projects done. The other thing that I've done, just want to showcase another t-shirt. This is also one of mine. I created this logo and everything by myself. And again, Sizer vinyl. And on the back, this is holographic vinyl, which I'll talk about in a moment. Also done with the regular $20 iron. So as you can see, I don't want to get it close enough. There is no peeling. This one hasn't been worn, but there is no peeling. It's flat. It's a very good finish. I do have another shirt like this for my other school, and I have worn it and washed it, and it is still in the same condition that it was in, like this one. So they definitely do not come off in the wash. The care instructions would be to wash inside out, cold water, gentle cycle, and I did put it in the dryer on low heat. I think that sometimes it's recommended not to put it in the dryer, don't put it on heat, but I did, and mine were okay. So that's up to you, how you decide to do it. The other projects that I've done are baby onesies, and these are Gerber onesies. This is again that Cricut glitter vinyl and Sizer vinyl, or heat transfer vinyl. So I just wanted to showcase that is the results that you can get with a regular standard household iron. So again, I'm just saying that if you are beginning and you're not starting off with a business or jumping into the business realm with your projects right away, especially the t-shirt and iron-on related projects, then you don't need to run out and get an easy press or a heat press. You can just stick with try a household iron first, and that will also be better for your budget. And then once you decide that you want to maybe go into business, and you know you'll be having like bulk orders where you would need to be able to do it quicker and may have more designs going on, then you probably would want to get the easy press or the heat press, just for productivity purposes. So all of those things are things I have done with heat transfer vinyl, and again the Sizer brand and my Sunbeam iron. The other thing I want to showcase is the thing that I would use, which is just a travel, this is considered a travel ironing board. If I can get it on the shot. Also from Target. I want to say it was $10. I will again search and link it down below if it's still available. This was purchased from they were on the same aisle, but I think because it's back to school time and you know kids going to college, this is a good, perfect, like easy to put away. It does fold out. I just keep it flat because I do my work pretty much on the floor. I just sit on the floor and then do the ironing on this, but it does open up, so if you want to put it on a countertop or you know a table or something else, you can prop it up a little bit. But it's just a mini travel ironing board, and it comes with a hook, so easy storage. If you don't have, like, it will fit, like I can put it in a corner in between like a desk or a chair or something, and it will just tuck away. But if you are, you know, have a specific room, a craft room or something, you can also hang it up because it has a little hanger, or if you know want to put it in your closet somewhere, you can do that too. So it's very convenient, does not take up a lot of space, and that's what I use to make my t-shirts and all of my iron related projects with the heat transfer vinyl. onesies that I've been using, they are Gerber onesies. I got these from Michaels, and all of the ones I've done so far come from Michaels. They had them in blue, white, and pink, and it's a 4-pack. So I've purchased the white and the pink so far, and also gray. So they had them in gray. So blue, white, pink, and gray. These are all short sleeve. They do have long sleeve in now, but the short sleeves were on clearance, and they are usually $14.99 for a 4-pack in Michaels, but they were on clearance for $5.97, and so I purchased a few of them to just play around with and make for a couple of my friends who have kids or who have like nieces that they asked me to just do some things for. And again, I'm not doing it as a business. I just do it to help basically, improve my skills and play around with the machine. So I do it for them for free. So that is some of the things that you can do with heat transfer vinyl. And again, I would recommend starting with the iron, especially if you know for sure that you're not going straight into a business function with any of your projects. The next type of vinyl behind that will be permanent and removable vinyl. So I use the brand Oracle. 651 is the number for the permanent, and 631 is the number for the removable vinyl. I mainly just stick with the permanent because most of the stuff that I'm putting it on, I don't plan on taking changing the design or taking anything off. So I just stick with the permanent. Permanent is also good if you're going to be putting it on things that will be going outdoors, like maybe if you're doing a big sign that's very popular now, to like the welcome signs on wood. You probably want to stick with the permanent 651, which is good for outdoor projects because it's meant to withstand the weather and long-term wear and tear. So that is why I just stick with permanent. Removable is more for things that you may want to change. Like for example, one of the common things is for people to design their Cricut maker. So you may put things across the top or on the front or whatever, make little decals. Most people, you might use removable vinyl just because you may want to change that from time to time, but I have heard that permanent vinyl works better because it will stick. The removable starts to peel after a while. But if you're going to be changing it up every say month or two or whatever, or you just know that maybe the area that you're putting it on is not going to get handled a lot, it'll probably be fine with removable. Removable is also something to use for like your phone cases. Like if you just have like a solid colored phone case and you want to put some little decals on the back or something, and you're probably going to want to change those from time to time, removable would be another option for that. But again, for both permanent and removable, I use Oracle brand, which is 651. Again, Cricut does have their own brand of permanent and removable vinyl. I actually have a few of the removable vinyl. This is the Cricut brand, just so you can see it's a pretty glitter. I have not used any of this yet because like I said, everything I've done has been with permanent. This is part of the bundle that I ordered when I first ordered my machine. I ordered a vinyl bundle, and again, not really knowing about the different types of vinyl, I just ordered, I just saw it was like Cricut vinyl, and I knew that vinyl was to do the custom project, so I just ordered it, and it turned out it was all removable vinyl. So not horrible because it is beautiful. The ones I got are very pretty. Most of them look like this, or they have very pretty colors. So I will figure out a way to use them. But if I would have known what I know now, then I would have probably ordered a similar bundle, but just with permanent. So that's the only downside. So it's not really a loss because I do have, like I said, a lot and beautiful colors. Regardless of what you use, other than the heat transfer vinyl, for your permanent and removable vinyl, you will need transfer tape. So that's something that people tend to forget about or they don't know about when it comes to using that. The transfer tape is used to basically remove your cut. So after you've cut it on your mat and you take it off, that is how you put it onto your final product. So you take the transfer tape, it's just clear, and you stick it across your design, and then you use that to transfer it to the new place, or to its final place, I guess you could say, and you just kind of press it down to transfer it onto your project. I have the Cricut brand because, again, one roll of this came in that bundle that I ordered when I ordered the vinyl bundle, so I already had the Cricut brand. And you can reuse the pieces of transfer tape. Like, so far my projects haven't been huge, so the first roll that I have, I still have plenty left, and I reused it. I literally did my entire kitchen stuff that I've designed with the same few pieces of transfer tape, because you can it stays sticky, so you don't have to like use it for one design and then cut a new set for something else, as long as the size lines up. So I was able to get my sizes to line up, and so I was able to reuse it a few times, so it saved a lot on the transfer tape. This is just my backup roll. I just purchased a second roll just to have it when I need it, but seeing how it works right now, I'm probably not going to need it anytime soon. So that's good to have. I'll have some for a while. The other type of vinyl, so we have heat transfer vinyl, the HTV, permanent and removable, and then the transfer tape for your permanent and removable vinyl. Oh, one last thing about the transfer tape. This is just the regular one. It'll just say transfer tape. If you are dealing with heavier vinyl, or let's see, what was the other thing that would be for? Oh, glitter vinyl that you're using, you want to get the strong grip transfer tape. So it will say strong grip on the package. At least I know the Cricut one does. It says strong grip. You do need that for like the glitter vinyl to help transfer, to make your process a lot easier. So just make sure if you're going to be doing things with glitter vinyl, you get the strong grip. The standard grip will work pretty much with just the regular removable and permanent vinyl. The next type this is still HTV, but it is holographic. So as you can see in the reflection, it's the shiny. This is actually a rainbow print. It's really pretty. And it is iron on, but it is holographic, so it just gives that little shimmer. And I had it on my blue HBCU made t-shirts on the back. I have a gold, just solid gold one that I use because the colors from my school were blue and gold. So that's just another one. This one, it's kind of tough in terms of like the feeling. It's not as smooth and sleek. Well, it is smooth, but it's a little heavier or denser than the regular like mattes and shinies. Here's another HTV here. You can see it's just shiny, but it's not holographic. That's just standard, or glossy is what it's called. And then you have this one, but again, you use the same process. Just iron it, cut your design and then iron it onto your shirt, and that worked fine. The next thing that I want to add to this still kind of deals with the general basics of what to get when you first get your machine. So you are probably going to use one of those types of vinyl in the early stages of your project. Unless you're buying it specifically to do like maybe cards or something, you're probably going to use one of those types of vinyl. So I would suggest, if nothing else, get a little bit of each type of vinyl: removable, permanent, and HTV, heat transfer vinyl, to have to play with, because those will be some of the easier projects and probably some of the first projects you're going to want to do. You're going to need at least one of those. So those are things I highly recommend. And also don't forget your transfer tape, because you will need that for your permanent and removable vinyl. The next thing that I have is what I call the basic tool set, and that is what I referred to in my last video. These are all the items that came with it. It's kind of hard to see. It was 5 things came in that pack. And again, this was the Cricut edition of it. I ordered this when I ordered my bundle, once again from HSN, Home Shopping Network. So I knew that this is something I had seen a lot of times, and people were recommending it. So again, doing your research so that you know what you need, this was something that was recommended. I will say the only thing I've really used so far is this, which helps to clean the mat. Like, say for example, if you have a project, especially if you have like a lot of lettering and it has a lot of like I's and E's and those little holes, the things that you're going to weed anyway, sometimes those will stick to the mat. And so to get those little things off, or any kind of little small pieces that might just linger on your mat, it's a lot easier to use this little scraper here to just kind of get them off. I use it for that, and I also use this to smooth out things, and I sometimes use it when I'm using the transfer tape. I just use it as just to kind of press it across. So that's all that is. The tool that you're going to probably use the most, regardless of what you do, because whether it's with cardstock or even cardstock or even your vinyl, you're going to need this handy dandy tool, which is a weeder. This is one of the most important things that you're going to need for any of your crafts. So even if you don't buy the whole set, you can buy the tools individually. I would suggest getting this tool, if nothing else, the weeder. Just to talk about what comes in this set, I will go through each one of them. I just want to let you know like what is in there. These are considered the Cricut tools. So again, we have the weeder, and it removes the tiny cuts. So again, like I said, like say if you have the letter E and you know it has that little opening, you're going to use this to like pluck it up. This is very sharp, so it can prick you. I promise you, you're probably going to stick yourself at some point along the way while you are weeding a project. It just happens. I have nicked myself on the leg, my fingers, everything, and it's not, I'm not going to draw blood or anything, but it is very sharp. So if you do have young children or even pets that may get into your stuff, just be aware and be careful, because this is a sharp item. And I don't think it came with any kind of covering. So maybe I do store my tools on my my maker has, you know, little trays that you can store it in, and it also has a tray that opens up and you can store the things under. You may want to put this in the tray that opens and seals, where it's not out in the open if you have children or pets that may get in the way, just for safety, because I don't think it has anything to cover that sharp point. Again, this is officially called a scraper, and its main function is to clean your mat, once again, to get like all the leftover things that may be on your mat after you finish a project. Then you have the spatula. This is also used to help get, sometimes your projects will stick to your mat, so this is a good way to use, just like you would use a spatula in the kitchen. It does the same thing, is to lift the items so that they, it's an easier way to lift, and also be a little more gentle and not risk carrying your items from your mat. So it lifts cuts from the mat. Then we have the tweezers. These are also used for small pieces. So very interesting. Also kind of sharp, not as sharp as the weeder, but it is a little bit sharp. So it's again used you can use this to lift your projects off the mat, and it, again, to help you get it a little more effectively without the risk of, you know, tearing it. And then I believe this is it. Finally, we have, these are some nice little scissors here. These are micro tip scissors, and I'm just looking down at my descriptions to make sure that I pronounce the proper names for these. These are micro tip scissors. They are very sharp as well. Not as sharp as the weeder. The weeder is the sharpest thing here, but it does come with a protective cover, so you can easily cover these, slide these on. You don't have to worry about you know, children or something getting into this, at least not immediately. So these scissors, I have used them to cut the vinyl sometimes when I put it on my mat, because if I'm just taking the roll, I just roll it out to where I need it to be, and then I cut. I do have regular scissors that I use for that, but these are very sharp. I have cut myself, again, not to the point of drawing blood, but with these, because they are so sharp, but very good for cutting, because you will get a good cut. And also you could probably use them to slice. That's just me, that's just a teacher in me, because, you know, you learn how to make the scissors do lots of things in a classroom, in terms of, you know, decorating your classroom, bulletin board paper, all of that. So I use my scissors for everything. But again, those are the things that come in the Cricut Tools kit or set that you can order. Again, you can buy it from Target, you can order it off Amazon. I got mine from HSM when I ordered it, so they're pretty much, it's everywhere, because it is pretty much like a starter set for your Cricut purchase. So we have covered so far mats, the types of mats, 4 types, the types of vinyl, HTV, permanent and removable, the things that you can do with your HTV, materials that you can use that will substitute for your, for the Cricut brand, or the more expensive tools such as the Sunbeam iron and the ironing board for those projects. And I've also shown you what you can make and some places that you can get your materials from, which would be like Michael's, Joann's, Target, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, and also Amazon, of course. They have, what doesn't Amazon have? But just be careful that you pay attention to the prices, because sometimes, even on wonderful Amazon, I hate to say it, it can be overpriced, especially if it's something that's trending and is selling out in the stores, and then you kind of have to resort to Amazon. In that case, sometimes, especially when it's independent sellers and not directly through Amazon, they will hike up the price because they know that, like, oh, it's kind of hard to find this particular item in the store, so people are going to come to Amazon and look, and they're going to hike up the price because, again, supply and demand, that's how it works. So just be careful when you're shopping online, and just make sure that you're getting the best deal. Once again, if you do shop at some of the craft stores on a regular basis, like Michael's is my go-to store, so I am a rewards member there. As a teacher, I also get an extra 15% off my purchase anytime, and a lot of times it does stack with sales. It doesn't necessarily stack with a coupon. So for example, I wouldn't get Michael's usually has a 20% off coupon. Like, I wouldn't get the 20% plus the 15. However, like when the size of vinyl was on sale for $9.99, I did get my additional 15% off on that. So that's what I mean by stacking. So just make sure, if you are an educator, you do set up your rewards account with Michael's and get that extra 15% off discount. And they also send out other perks throughout the year specifically for teachers. So just make sure you get that set up. It's free to join, and also you can check my blog for my couponing section, because I have a whole section on teacher discounts. If you happen to be a teacher or educator, you can go on my page and see a list of specific vendors that I know of, or stores, retail stores, or places that I know of that give teacher discounts, as well as like how to get them, what you need to do, all of that. Most of the time it's a one-time process in terms of signing up, and then you might have to have your ID initially, but usually you don't need it after that. Especially with Michael's, like once it's signed up, I think they put it in the system as an educator account, so once it's in, and you don't have to worry about any of that. For storage purposes, just know that the Container Store also has a teacher program. The POP program, they have one for teachers, free as well, but you do get some more perks for being a teacher. So you just make sure that you sign up for the teacher version of their rewards program, so that you can be entitled to those extra perks that come along throughout the year. The last thing I want to talk about is just how do you, once you start collecting your vinyl and all of that, how do you keep it organized, and what are some good ways to remember? Because when you first buy the vinyl, it usually comes in a roll like this. So this is just the plastic wrap and all that is on it. So I know what color it is, and I know what type it is, meaning I know this is HTV. But what do you do after you have opened it and now it's just there? It doesn't have the labels, it doesn't have anything, because that label just wraps around the outside. It's nothing on the roll. The roll looks like this once you open it. There is nothing to tell you really what it is. Now I will say, with Oracle, on the back side of their vinyl, they do have on the back side, non-colored, it does say what type of vinyl it is. So like this one will have Oracle 651 or Oracle 631 for the removable vinyl on the back side, so you can always see that. But just in case it doesn't, one of the easiest ways, and I did see this in another YouTube video as one of the hacks for organizing your materials, is to set up a system that helps you understand or remember what types of vinyl you have. So what I decided to do was use the rubber band hack. And so all you need to do is pick out colored rubber bands that you can use to distinguish between your types of vinyl. So for those of you who may not have seen any of my other information on my blog, I am from North Carolina, I am a football fan, and I am a fan of the Carolina Panthers. So those colors are black, white, and blue, and these are almost identical to Carolina there's fans. So I got these from Target. I'll actually show you the pack if I have it over here. And it was actually only like $1 and some change. It was less than $2 for this huge pack of rubber bands. And all I need right now is 3 colors. And I'm going to use these 3 colors to distinguish my types of vinyl. So if I want to know, you know, right now I can kind of remember what I bought because my colors vary, whether it's HDV or whatever. I bought different types. So I still kind of remember off top what is what. And like I said, my Oracle vinyl is labeled on the back, so I can look at it if I forget. However, that may not always be the case. So what I'm going to do is assign each color to a roll of vinyl or type of vinyl. And then that way I know anything that has a white rubber band on it is a certain type of vinyl. Anything that has a blue rubber band on it is a certain type of vinyl. And anything that has a black rubber band on it will be a certain type of vinyl. So I think what I'm going to do is I just like pink and black together. This is heat transfer vinyl. It is a very pretty glossy kind of fuchsia color. I'm going to assign black to my heat transfer vinyls. So anything, and I have a whole bucket. Right now, I do not have official storage space. I am redoing my living room space to set up for my work from home desk as well as my crafting area. So once that's set up, I will do a video on that. But for now, I just have all of my different rolls of vinyl sitting in one of those cubes that you get for organizing. And so it's just all mixed in there. And what I want to do is do the color code system. So anything that has a black rubber band on it will be classified as a heat transfer vinyl. So all of my heat transfer rolls that are currently open will end up with black rubber bands. I think I will use blue for permanent and then white for removable vinyl. So that is one easy, simple, inexpensive trick for organizing your vinyl. So if you have not figured out, if you don't have like a rack or a drawer or something to, you know, separate your vinyls or a lot of space, and you just kind of have them all in one little container like I do right now, that is one way to kind of organize your vinyls, just in case you forget or it's not labeled. Then you're able to remember what type of vinyl it is. All right, so I think that is all that I had to share with you guys today. Again, I will link below the things that I showed in my video in terms of the alternatives. So the ironing board, the iron that both came from Target, if they are still available, I will put those links down in the description box. I'll also link the bag of rubber bands if you happen to want those colors. They do have other color combinations. They have what they call rubber band ball, is what I've seen in the Targets that I've been to so far, and those have multicolors like red, pink, purple, like way more colors than this. But since I only need 3 and these are my colors for my team, then I stuck with them. But they do have other options, so I will actually link both the ones that I have as well as another colorful option. You can get colored rubber bands anywhere, including like a dollar store, so you're not limited to Target. But if you just happen to be in Target or you're gonna be there anyway, you can get them. And like I said, this huge bag, I do not know where the label is for it, but this huge bag, which has probably at least 100, actually I do have the label here. This is 6 ounces of rubber bands. And I think it's just one of their generic brands because it didn't have a specific label. But like I said, I will link it below. But it was like $1.60 something, I think. So less than $2 for all of these rubber bands. Don't think I'll run out anytime soon. And again, they did have more options. So I will link everything down below that is still available and where you can get it. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I will be doing some more videos as I continue on my Cricut journey, and I also hope that you will follow me on Instagram. I will have that information down below, as well as Pinterest, because I do have a Pinterest crafting board that will provide you with some ideas as well as some helpful things, such as that chart like I mentioned that talks about the colored mats and what materials you use on which mat, as well as one for vinyl, which tells you like what it kind of describes like which type of vinyl, whether it's temporary, removable, and then what project you're doing. It kind of gives you like a little tree, like, oh, you're doing this, then you use this. Are you doing that, then you use this one. So it gives you the types as well as what you could use it for and what materials you would need. And it also lists a couple of brands like the Oracle brand and the Sizer brand. But like I said, there's so many brands out there. I think Hobby Lobby has their own brand of vinyl. I know there are some online stores, vinyl stores out there that you can order from, and sometimes you can get a really good deal because you can get it in bulk. I'm actually going to try out a particular online store soon, so I will probably do a video just showcasing what I got because I've just been browsing so far. They do have some really cute bundles, and they do have some more unique patterns that I don't really see in like the craft stores or just around. So that's the one good thing about ordering from online vinyl, is that you can get some more unique things, especially if you're going into business. That's one way to stand out, being able to have something that maybe everyone else doesn't have, so in terms of like your designs. So I will probably do a little video on what I order from that particular place once I do place my order, get it, and maybe try it out on a couple of projects, just to be able to give you a full report on not only the type of vinyl that it was in terms of the quality, and show off the patterns, because those are going to be cute regardless, but also give you an idea about the quality in terms of whether or not it lasts in comparison to the traditional ones that we see in the craft stores all the time, like Cricut and Sizer. Again, for watching.